a yacht girl. That's right. It's mentioned in the book. Meghan used to entertain as a yacht girl. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it happened, but I am saying Harry knows.
Before she ever became the so-called Duchess of Drama, Meghan Markle was just another Hollywood hopeful juggling scripts, auditions, and rejection letters that piled higher than her ambitions. But here's the twist. While most aspiring actresses were losing themselves in endless casting calls, Meghan was already playing a different kind of game. She wasn't waiting for Hollywood to open its gates. She was finding her own red carpet. And guess what? It wasn't in Los Angeles. It was floating, yes, floating somewhere along the glittering blue of the Mediterranean.
There's absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl, and she knows.
While other actresses fought for screen time, Meghan was charming billionaires under the golden sun on luxury yachts where the champagne never stopped flowing and cameras were forbidden. It was a world of secrets, exclusivity, and power, the kind of circles where reputations are built over midnight whispers and broken over morning headlines.
Meghan Markle did know Prince Andrew, and she knew Sarah incredibly well, which makes Zara a liar because she says, I didn't know Meghan Markle until she invited me to her wedding. That is BS.
But those glossy yacht days, those mysterious, untouchable moments are suddenly resurfacing, dragging Meghan's carefully crafted royal image straight into a storm of scandal. Because when Sarah Ferguson, yes, that Fergie, casually dropped a bombshell, the palace walls practically shook. She didn't just toss shade, she detonated it. Fergie claimed Meghan was Andrew's first client. And when those words hit the air, jaws across Britain hit the floor faster than the royal approval ratings after the Netflix series.
I wonder if Prince Andrew's going to come out and say, hey, Harry, I did your wife quite a few times on yachts before you got
It wasn't a careless comment, it was an explosion, a direct link between Meghan's glamorous pre-royal days and the darkest chapters of Prince Andrew's scandalous past. And suddenly, Prince Harry, the rebel royal who once traded a crown for California sunshine, was realizing that the love story he risked it all for might have roots tangled in far murkier waters than he ever imagined. Grab your teacup, darling, because tonight's brew, it's scalding. This isn't a royal rumor, it's a full-blown tempest. And when the truth docks, someone's crown isn't going to survive the tide.
They're going to be shocked to find out who is Fergie's target and what she's willing to disclose and how far she will go just to get revenge with Meghan.
The palace didn't stay silent for long. Oh no, the whispers turned into a roaring media storm within hours. Fergie exposes Meghan's yacht past, screamed the tabloids. But behind the headlines, the tension was real. Palace insiders revealed that the Duchess of York didn't accidentally say what she said. She meant it. Her reference to Meghan being Andrew's first client wasn't a slip-up, it was a spark, a dangerous, deliberate spark thrown right into the royal powder keg. Behind those marble walls, panic took over. Senior aides reportedly called emergency meetings to figure out how to contain what they feared might become another Andrew-level catastrophe. But this time, it wasn't an aging prince under fire, it was Meghan Markle, the woman who once promised to modernize the monarchy and somehow became its most polarizing figure.
Fergie has nothing to lose. Fergie wants to scorch the earth with the royal family now that she's no longer able to use the title. That is a cautionary tale for Harry, the idiot, who doesn't understand that he's married to the enemy. He's sleeping with the enemy.
Sources say this belief spread like wildfire through royal circles. It wasn't just the audacity of Fergie's claim, it was the chilling implication behind it. Could Meghan's old networking days, those elusive yacht summers surrounded by billionaires and brokers, actually overlap with Andrew's infamous social sphere? The very thought sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. And the worst part, this wasn't coming from a tabloid. It wasn't gossip from an outsider. It came from within the royal family itself. When Fergie speaks, one insider whispered, she's not gossiping, she's warning. Now the palace was trapped in an impossible dilemma. Do they defend Meghan and risk reopening Andrew's old wounds, or stay silent and let the rumors devour them both? But there's always a reason when someone like Sarah Ferguson speaks. And behind her smirk might just lie a decades-old rivalry that no one saw coming. Because this wasn't random, oh no, this was calculated. So why did Fergie choose now to light this royal fuse?
Because Meghan thinks that she's above them. And now that Fergie's down, now she doesn't want to have anything to do with Fergie. But you don't do that with people who knows your secrets, people who know your skanky past. And Fergie's ready to tell on Meghan Markle. She's ready to destroy her. She's ready to put it out.
According to palace insiders, timing was everything. Fergie's remark was a masterstroke of strategy, a perfectly timed reminder that even after decades of exile and humiliation, she still knows how to control a narrative. You see, Fergie's own story is dripping with scandal, ostracized, mocked, dismissed as a royal embarrassment. For years, she lived under the shadow of disgrace, while others enjoyed the spotlight. But when Meghan waltzed in, dazzling the press and commanding global attention, something inside Fergie snapped. Meghan's rise was everything Fergie had once wanted, a modern royal adored by media and feared by the establishment. Some aides even whispered that Fergie believed Meghan had stolen her playbook, the outsider who became royalty, rewriting the rules of royal fame. So maybe, just maybe, this was personal. By linking Meghan's name to Andrew's scandal-stained circle, Fergie wasn't just spilling tea, she was dragging her rival down to the very depths she herself had once been thrown into. But others believe it was even darker. That by tethering Meghan to Andrew, Fergie was performing the ultimate royal trick, diverting attention, shifting public scrutiny away from herself and her ex-husband. A royal sleight of hand. One Duchess sacrificed to save another, and oh, did it work. Overnight, the headlines flipped. The storm that had been swirling over Fergie and Andrew suddenly had a new target. While Meghan's PR team scrambled to contain the damage, Fergie sat back calm, composed, victorious, watching as the chaos she started rewrote royal history one headline at a time. But beneath the glitz and gossip, a deeper tension brewed, because when that story broke, Prince Harry's entire world tilted. Sources close to Montecito say he was blindsided, utterly shattered when the yacht allegations resurfaced. At first, he couldn't even speak. It wasn't anger at first, it was disbelief. The man who left his family to protect his wife was now watching her name dragged through the very mud he tried to escape. Once the shock faded, though, the fury came roaring in. Behind closed doors, things got heated. Meghan, usually composed and strategic, was said to be pacing rooms, repeating that it was nothing more than character assassination. Harry, though, was laser-focused not on Meghan, but on who had done this. Who's behind it, he reportedly demanded, his voice cutting through the silence like a sword. Across the ocean, the palace was frozen in eerie quiet. Spokespeople refused to comment. Senior courtiers moved meetings behind closed doors. And deep within those echoing corridors, whispers began to swirl not just about Fergie's words, but about Harry's reaction to them. One insider didn't hold back. Harry feels betrayed, they said. Not just by Fergie, but by the family's silence. That silence screamed louder than any statement could. The rift between the Sussexes and the rest of the royals, already stretched to breaking point, began to tear even further. Meghan, ever the strategist, reportedly begged Harry to stay calm, to focus on their life, their children, their empire, but deep down, the damage was already done. Because this wasn't just idle gossip, this was war. The man who'd left the monarchy to protect his love was now realizing that even oceans away, the crown's shadow could still reach him and strike exactly where it hurt the most. And that's when the real paranoia began to creep in. Was this chaos an accident or something perfectly engineered by the palace itself? Because, make no mistake, this wasn't just another royal feud. It was a mirror reflecting everything the monarchy doesn't want you to see, its fractures, its secrets, its survival instincts. The Meghan-Andrew connection isn't just another scandal. It's a reminder that in the royal world, the past never really vanishes. It simply waits for the perfect moment to rise again. The palace has always survived by controlling the story. But this time, the story slipped from their hands and exploded across the world. For Prince Harry, the fallout cut deeper than pride. It cracked the very foundation of what he'd sacrificed everything for: love, freedom, peace. The man who once defied his bloodline to protect his wife was now forced to watch his family become target practice for the same institution he'd tried to escape. And for Meghan, this was more than just a hit to her reputation, it was cruel irony. The very charisma that once opened every door, the charm that made her a global darling, was suddenly being twisted into something ugly. What once looked like ambition was now being branded as manipulation. What once looked like confidence was now being painted as cunning. Her image, the compassionate Duchess, the activist, the mother, was crumbling under the weight of old rumors revived by royal politics. Every photo, every quote, every smile was now being dissected as evidence of some hidden motive. Meanwhile, Fergie, she was basking in the chaos she'd created. She'd done it again. One comment, one perfectly placed sentence, and she was back at the center of royal drama, proving that in the monarchy, true power isn't in titles, it's in timing. With a single remark, she reminded the world that she still knew how to shake the palace walls. Meghan, ever the master of reinvention, has reportedly shifted her strategy. She's pulling back from the spotlight, pausing appearances, shelving high-profile projects, and steering the narrative toward humanitarian causes again. It's not surrender, it's damage control, but with designer polish. Harry, though, he's not handling it the same way. Friends describe him as restless, torn between rage and heartbreak. On one hand, he wants to defend Meghan with everything he has. On the other, he's starting to confront the painful truth that no matter how far he runs, royal politics will always find him. The palace may have lost its prince, but it hasn't lost its reach. She brought Jeffrey Epstein, into that idiot formerly known as Prince Andrew, into the royal family. One commentator sneered, "These two women, Sarah Ferguson and Meghan Markle, are holding the entire royal family hostage." The words are cruel, yes, but what's even crueler is how familiar they sound. Because history always repeats itself inside the royal family. And right now, it feels like the monarchy is reliving its own darkest chapters: scandal, silence, and survival. Meanwhile, back in London, Buckingham Palace is quieter than ever, but don't mistake silence for peace. Behind the grand doors, senior aides are treading carefully. No one dares to breathe Meghan's name out loud, but every meeting, every memo revolves around it. The king's advisors are reportedly split. Some want to issue a soft denial. Others say silence is the only shield left, because sometimes denying a rumor only makes it real. And so, the palace waits, hoping the storm passes without another headline bomb exploding. But in the shadows, those who orchestrated the chaos are watching, satisfied. Their goal achieved. Their fingerprints wiped clean. The monarchy endures, but it bleeds a little more each time it's forced to cover another wound. For the royals, it's reputation versus survival. For Harry and Meghan, it's love versus legacy. And the question that lingers over it all, what secret truth was worth burning the royal peace for? Because someone somewhere knows exactly what they set in motion, and the world is still waiting for the next shoe to drop. The storm that Fergie started has cracked open secrets the palace hoped were buried forever. Every whisper now echoes louder than the crown itself. But if you think this was Fergie's first rodeo, think again. Before this yacht scandal even made headlines, Fergie had already been living a life so extravagant, so outrageous, it bordered on fiction. Private jets, $1,200 per plate dinners, designer wardrobes that rivaled queens, all funded on debts that could make a banker faint. Her life wasn't a fairy tale, it was a luxury soap opera. So maybe it's no surprise that she knows exactly how to turn someone else's chaos into her own comeback. Because when you look closer, it's almost poetic. The Duchess, who once drowned in scandal, has found her footing by stirring another. Maybe Meghan was just collateral damage in Fergie's latest reinvention. Or maybe this was all part of the royal cycle. Scandal fuels attention, attention fuels power, and power in the royal world is everything. So when you're done sipping today's tea, don't stop here. You need to see what's next. Because before this whole yacht drama erupted, Fergie was already making headlines for her outrageous spending, the private jets, the lavish parties, the million-dollar debts. It's all in our previous expose. Fergie's outrageous spending, exposed royal feasts, private jets, and $4.2 million in debt. It's a jaw-dropping look into how one Duchess turned extravagance into an art form and how those same choices may have pushed her to pull Meghan right back into the spotlight. Because in the royal world, no move is ever without motive and no secret stays buried forever. You're watching Royal Spotlight, where power meets scandal, and every secret comes with a price. So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and dive into the next royal saga because, trust me, this storm isn't over, not even close.